Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Mass Effect 3 Legendary Edition. Let's take a look at the galaxy map and see what do I have to do. Valhalla Threshold, Minos Wasteland, find ex-Cerberus scientists, Nimbus Cluster, Athena Nebula. Okay, so I think I'll just go this way to the far rim, because I think those are the only clusters I have not explored anyway. After half the crew of a survey ship died in a freak accident, the ship's captain named the desert planet Kralla after an ancient Asari demon of misfortune. Kralla is said to delight in thwarting carefully laid plans at the last moment, tipping apparent success towards utter disaster. Legend says that she only targets those whose plans are long in the making, an obvious warning against hubris for a race whose plans tend to stretch over centuries. Nyakal is a large planet with an overabundance of photosynthetic life, leading to oxygen concentrations greater than most on most garden worlds. This is tolerable for a few hours, but soon the oxygen toxicity becomes a real danger. Asari colonies here use breeders and sealable buildings. Nyakal's economy centers on agribusiness and biotechnology. Many genetically modified crops have their origins here. Aware that the Reaper's plan of attack is to bombard industrial cities and enslave the population centers, Nyakal's soldiers and civilians alike have retreated to the planet's impenetrable jungles. A terrestrial guerrilla war may not be enough to push the Reapers off the planet, but it has proven successful at immobilizing the enemy and forcing them to commit more resources here for little gain. Colony founded in 177 CE, population 7,300,000, capital Aurolis. Tisoni's surface is a desert of lime streaked with sodium banks. The only features of note are empty calderas scattered around the fault lines, suggesting Tisoni was once more geologically active. While the average temperatures are near habitable, Tisoni has not retained a protective atmosphere and thus is a third-tier world, unlikely to be terraformed. The system's only gas giant has rings laced with the faintest trace of element 0 dust, likely from extrasolar asteroid pulverized by collision with the planet's moons. Collecting and refining this ESO in dust form is a long and costly process. The Elkos Combine sought the mineral rights to a Gallic from the matriarchs on Tessia, but the Reaper invasion stopped any deal from going through. The equipment here is undamaged by the Reapers, the attack on Nyakal likely taking priority.
Signal confirmed. Reapers eluded.
Asari research ships.
Faster than light jump successful.
The The ice giant Benes is the outermost giant of the Tomaros system. It likely formed much closer to the system's star and migrated outward over time. A debris field of scrap metal near the planet suggests that the Reapers have been here. Pornoia is a methane-ammonia gas giant notable for the large deposits of platinum discovered by Lucia colonists on its largest moon. Asari have been selling the precious metal, used in some medical equipment, to the Sirta Foundation for less than its market value. The discount may have single-handedly saved Sirta from bankruptcy, a debt that is rapidly being repaid galaxy-wide through Sirta's humanitarian efforts. The Reaper presence in the system has no doubt cut off supplies to the Foundation. Nyagolon is a hydrogen-helium gas giant. The Reapers have destroyed the fueling infrastructure. During the Lucia campaign that started the Krogan rebellions, Nyagolon was the site of a Krogan overlord Kredak's ultimate defeat. As his flagship was discharging its core and undergoing repairs, an Asari commando team snuck on board and detonated resonant warp bombs, sacrificing their lives to destroy the vessel through an explosive decompression. The Krogan rebellions began in the Asari colony of Lucia. After centuries of unabated expansion, the Krogan finally found the forced the Council's hand when they tried to annex this world. Aware that in a generation, Lucia could be the staging base for an invasion of Tessia, the Council came to the colony's defense. They cut the Krogan supply lines off at Tessia's mass relay and inflicted heavy casualties. The Krogan here surrendered, but others across the galaxy were enraged. Lucia became the catalyst for a much greater war. More than a millennium later, Lucia finds itself once again in danger. Though the Asari have lost the high ground of space, the colony's webbed defense grid remains at least partially functional. Land, sea and air forces are striking whenever they can, determined to resist until the end. Colony founded in 505 BCE, population 2.2 billion, capital Monoi.
I found something. Evasion successful. Reapers eluded.
Asari cruiser Nephrane.
Faster than light jump successful.
Polissa is a ringed gas giant composed of hydrogen, helium and traces of ammonia. It has 26 moons, but the Asari extracted the most valuable resource deposits from all of them long ago. The facilities have largely been forgotten in face of greater excitement among the system's inner planets. The Asari have set up research stations on the largest moon of Tritogenith, a gas giant, in order to observe the eventual collision of Promaves and Sotera. A Reaper troop transport can be seen here, indicating that the Reapers sent a small task force to capture or kill the station's staff. Why they did not destroy the station outright is a mystery. It could be that the direct collision of two planets is so rare that even the Reapers which wish to observe the results. Sotera's atmosphere retains a modest amount of oxygen, but it's too hot to support life that relies on liquid water. This is fortunate because projections show that Sotera will collide with Promabes, a planet crossing its orbit, within the next 3 years. The impact is expected to pulverize both worlds, while forming new asteroids and moons. The Asari have constructed research stations at safe distances to record this rare event. Within 3 years, Promabes will slam into its neighboring planet, Sotera, and suffer an apocalyptic transformation. Asari explorers searching for life in Promabes' hydrocarbon morass were relieved to find none. Promabes' methane-ethane atmosphere is likely to ignite when it mingles with Sotera's oxygen, and both planets will shatter under the force of the collision. Nauti is a rocky planet with a crushing atmosphere. Thick clouds have created runaway greenhouse effect, locking in the brutal heat from its yellow-white star Vernio. Much of Nauti's surface is brittle rock with deposits of molten metal.
Signal confirmed.
Hesperia period statue.
Evasion successful. Reapers eluded. Faster than light jump successful.
Scans show little of value on Gnosia, aside from a sizable copper deposit near the equator. The only landmark of note is the wreck of a Krogan freighter, a remnant of the attacks on the system during the latter half of the Krogan rebellions. Trikalon is a small rock planet that was home to a centuries-old Asari venture called the Tree Supercollider. This massive particle accelerator encircled the entire planet at an orbital distance when political sea change among the Asari republics led to funding cuts. A human scientist stepped in with the credits and labor to finish the project, renaming it the Suskind Supercollider. It came online just days before the Reapers invaded the galaxy. When the Reapers entered the system, they dispatched a swarm of capital ships towards Trikalon, treating the Supercollider as the greater threat than the Asari naval fleet stationed at Sunbus. They blasted it apart, sending debris hurtling at Trikalon's surface. Several ships carrying the Supercollider staff escaped before the Reapers hit. Man, that is bad luck. To have this massive project and have it finished a few days before a galaxy-wide war of extinction begins. The hydrogen-helium gas giant Zillium once provided fuel for ships flying from Sunbus. The equipment here was noted for its efficiency. Business flourished in its orbital stations, which promised roomy bunks, hydroponic food, and attention from charming Asari hostesses while the ships refueled. These stations are no blasted metal. There is no fuel, aid, or comfort here. The once rich thorium reserves of Imnos have been long since mined out, mostly by remote Asari drones that operate well enough in the planet's heat and trace atmospheric pressure. There is little reason to visit this harsh world unless further deposits are discovered. This hospitable nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, a temperate climate and sprawling wilderness of sunvets made the planet a popular tourist destination. Large tracts of untamed forests surrounding the capital drew millions of sightseers, game hunters, and biologists. The Asari, mindful of how rapid expansion has damaged ecologies of other planets, restricted settlements. After destroying the colony's navy and anti-air defenses, Reapers have landed infantry units to subjugate the local population. Destroyers keep watch in orbit, the capital ships apparently elsewhere fighting bigger battles. Colony founded in 544 BCE, population 975 million, capital Etai.
I found something.
Asari engineers.
Evasion successful. Reapers eluded. Faster than light jump successful. Evasion successful.
Tevura is a hydrogen-methane ice giant with a core of frozen ammonia and trace hydrocarbons. The world is named for an ancient Asari goddess of love, sex, travel, and law. Spheres of influence whose overlap initially baffled human xenoanthropologists. Asari reproductive instincts are strongly exogamous, and before alien contact, their instincts sent the Asari roaming outside their kinship groups to avoid mating with relatives. The journeys necessitated a system of rules governing guests, fugitives, and alliances, all watched over by the goddess Tevura. The Reapers have ignored Tevura so far, its science stations and moon-based mining equipment offering little strategic importance. It is likely that a destroyer will eventually be sent here to exterminate any civilians. Atame is a hydrogen-helium gas giant with spectacular rings. The planet's apparent magnitude varies when seen from Tessia based on the atmospheric conditions and relative distance. To the ancient Asari, the mysterious star that shone in some months and disappeared in others was linked to fortune, and so it was named Atame, after the matriarch of the pantheon and the goddess of prophecy and fate. Atame's worship changed over time, eventually becoming the basis of a monotheistic religion in which her maiden, matron, and matriarch aspects oversaw all stages and roles in the Asari society. When an Asari says by the goddess, they are referring to Atame. Like Janiri, the planet Atame served as a rallying point during the Reaper invasion, where fleeing Asari ships could discharge their drive cores so that they could make another FTL jump. The Reapers were forced to chase the Asari away from the planet, buying Tessia valuable time. A large reflective asteroid, Lucen is almost visible in Tessia's night sky and was discovered soon after the Asari developed optics. When the space age finally arrived, the rocky asteroid was among the first to be mined for its valuable deposits of platinum group metals. Lucen is named for the servant of the goddess Atame, who besieged the goddess for gifts of pottery, forging and biotics. Lucen then sailed the sea and sky, teaching these gifts to mortals. It is said that the aging powerful matriarch begged Atame for the gift of prophecy so that she would see whether Asari would prosper in the future. Atame refused, prophecy being her alone, and when Lucen tried to steal it from Atame's silver jars, Atame struck her down. The Reapers have so far ignored the facility mining on Lucen as it offers little strategic value and is far from the system's mass relay. The lifeless sister planet to Tessia lacks water and oxygen. It is covered instead in deserts, the air a mix of carbon dioxide and ethane. The manageable temperatures and gravity on Piares led to heavy exploitation for mineral wealth in the beginning of the Asari space age. Today, Piares is largely mined out. Piares is named for an ancient Asari goddess of death, who was not seen as a malefic figure, but as one who guided Asari spirits on their final journey. From her home in the stars, she could grant an Asari who had lost a lover the ability to restore them to life in another body. This legend, heavily modified, formed the basis of a recent, highly profitable human SimStim called Nicaea Corridor. The Reapers targeted Piares from the orbit, its population too small to bother harvesting. Wreckage of the old domed cities and spaceports dotted the landscape. Janiri is a hydrogen-helium gas giant named for an ancient Asari goddess of seasons, storms and agriculture. With the advent of the Siari religion, Janiri's holy day, Janiris, became largely secular, but it's still celebrated on worlds within the Asari influence. During the Reaper attack on Tessia, the Asari Armada used the Janiri as a staging base for their hit-and-run attacks on the invading Reapers, striking, jumping to FTL to lose pursuers, and discharging the static into Janiri's magnetic field as they prepared for another attack. This has forced the Reapers to mount a counteroffensive to drive the Asari away from the planet, using ships that would otherwise have been hammering Tessia itself. Wrapped in a crushing haze of hydrogen and methane, Corinth is named for an Asari goddess of war and hunting, the two being similar in the Asari mindset. The planet is particularly bright in Tessia's morning and evening skies, enough to cast a noticeable shadow on the moonless nights. Understandably, warriors and hunters operating at night were grateful for Corinth's blessing. The planet was never heavily exploited for minerals. Early Asari explorers focused on the asteroid belt, and by the time rope mining machines were created that could withstand the intense heat, more lucrative planets were already on star charts. Modern charts record several scientific stations orbiting the planet, but it appears all have been destroyed by the Reapers. The Asari homeworld has been called the crown jewel of the galaxy, apex of democracy, and the beating heart of galactic love. Its republics have a remarkably low incidence of war, disease, violent crime or famine, riding a stable economy backed by wealthy colonies and Tessia's vast Element Zero reserves. Traces of Iso in the water and soil are so common that most life on Tessia has adapted to its presence. Tessia's fortunes have been upended by the Reaper assault. The communication infrastructure that forms the backbone of society's e-democracies has been eliminated. Millions are without power, water or food. A move to coerce the Asari into widespread surrender. This is a necessary part of the Reaper strategy, since husks alone have difficulty disarming or capturing a population full of biotics. Population 5.5 billion, on orbital station 33,000. Apparently, they have no capital. Which is, I guess maybe because it's called the Asari Republics rather than the Asari Republic. So Maybe they're... But even then, I assume they are some kind of a federation, right? They would have some kind of a capital where the most overarching governmental structures are housed. It says 88%, so there is something in here, by all accounts.
Signal confirmed.
Asari cruiser Sibean. Find Cerberus scientists. You know what? Let's start with this. The rock and ice planet Aetis' position was ideal for collecting data on extrasolar activity. According to the star charts, the Asari had a small VI system of satellites in geosynchronous orbit with the planet. This system broadcast the first warning that the Reapers had come through the mass relay, and mangled metal around the planet indicates that the Reapers did not appreciate their presence being advertised. Largely frozen ice, except for liquid seas at the equator, Strategos has the coldest winters of any Asari colony, taking it down near the second tier of habitability. Strategos' colonists are a hardy bunch, using the freezing winter months to test whether newcomers have what it takes to carve out life on the planet. Strategos' colonists are fighting the Reapers in a guerrilla war, their best resource being submarine vehicles that can slip under the sea ice to mask their heat. Unfortunately, these have not proven good tools for taking back population centers from the Reapers, and for now the colonists will have to be satisfied with commando actions to harass their synthetic oppressors. The most temperate planet in the solar system, Cetania is a terrestrial world with a light atmosphere of nitrogen and argon. Asari from the neighboring Tretogos build mining operations around the southern pole after discovering mountains with veins of iridium and osmium. The dense atmosphere of nitrogen and carbon monoxide has turned Zosteros into a hothouse of enormous windstorms that blow toxic gases non-stop. Its most valuable deposits are cobalt and polonium, which netted it the third spot on the list of amazingly poisonous planets on the popular vid show Your Awesome Galaxy. The Reapers appear to have destroyed the camera drones here, as well as any scientific stations the Asari may have maintained.
I found something.
Intact Reaper weapon.
Reapers eluded.
A rock planet exploited for minerals by robo-miners, Panya was named for an ancient Asari mythological hero. Her music was so stirring that the goddess Atame granted Panya anything her heart desired. The differing legends reflect the variety of hero cults of the time. In some stories, she became the first ruler of Armali, while others claimed Panya took to the stars with Atame herself. The robo-miners' orbital stations have been destroyed. A number of life pods can be detected, but most are in red, indicating that their oxygen ran out long ago. Vast swaths of Eterna's surface are covered by thick ash, spewed into the air by chains of volcanoes across the planet. Beneath this layer of soot, Eterna has an iron core and significant levels of cobalt in its crust. As with Panya, Lemnia has had mining facilities in orbit, remotely controlling machines on the planet's surface to recover the highly valued transuranic elements. Unfortunately, the miners made no secret of their presence, and to find all traces of them and wipe them out, all Reapers needed was to access the extranet.
Signal confirmed. Faster than light jump successful.
Carcosa was thought to be a naturally occurring hothouse planet until an Asari expedition discovered palatial ruins on its barren surface. Likely the seat of an ancient city, the crumbling edifice dates back more than 2.7 million years. The only intact chamber appears to be the throne room, overlooking a large depression believed to once have been an enormous lake. There is evidence that the people of Carcosa polluted their planet until it became uninhabitable, triggering runaway greenhouse effect and spoiling the planet's freshwater supply. Research into the planet's long history will have to wait. Asari scientists evacuated when the word of the Reaper attack reached the system, leaving behind data drones to explain their findings to anyone who survives. Hali is an orange dwarf star, a cool companion to Ageo, a yellow-white F-class star that is the primary source of mass and light in the system.
I found something.
Library of Asha. Veilus is a hydrogen-ethane ice giant drifting out in the frozen depths. Its orbit hosts rings of rock and ice, as well as many moons, all drawn from what would have otherwise been a secondary asteroid belt, similar to Sol's Kuiper belt. Vilius is named after a trickster figure in Asari mythology, a crafty animal called a manal, that seduced Asari maidens who gave birth to hideously deformed offspring. In the tales, Vilius is caught and punished, but they serve as a warning to the young Asari not to initiate a bond with anyone they cannot trust. That actually only serves to confound me more, because I've been wondering whether Asari could theoretically mate with animals. And this tale doesn't really provide a concrete answer. If anything, it seems to suggest that maybe they could. but it also suggests that it wouldn't be a good idea. A hydrogen-helium gas giant, Shastesia is a twin to its more massive neighbor Medokos in more than one sense. The two were named for a semi-mythological pair of twins from Asari antiquity who ruled neighboring city-states and had a lifelong dialogue about the best form of government. As the legend goes, Shastesia died before her vision of a democratic republic could be realized. Her sister, Medokos, then took up the cause, sacrificing personal power so that all free landowners in her city would have a voice, although historians doubt that the changes were entirely altruistic, pointing to uprisings that demanded representation. The development was a step towards the modern Asari government. Medokos is a medium-sized gas giant. Although its mass exceeds that of Jupiter, the planet is somewhat denser and thus smaller. A large number of moons, Phantasimals and other detritus orbit Medokos, as its gravitational pull has cleared the neighborhood of materials that might otherwise form an asteroid belt. Limetis is a desertified rock planet with a thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide and monoxide. The surface has water ice as well as occasional liquid water near volcanic areas. The planet has an abundant supply of zeolites, which the Asari use for water purification, as an ingredient in detergent and as a shielding material for disposal of radioactive waste. A small colony still maintains the mining equipment. Despite centuries of colonization, the Asari have developed Limetis at a modest pace. The planet shows no signs of resource exhaustion. Colony founded in 430 BCE. Population 12,550. Capital Irira. Lessus is an unpopular garden world, with characteristics just outside the comfort zone of its Asari population. Its gravity is a little too high, its diseases a little too virulent, and the soil inhospitable for growing food. Further information is difficult to come by. The Asari government is uncharacteristically silent about Lessus. Normally, a garden world settled so long ago would be highly populated, but little light pollution can be seen on Lessus's night side. Colony founded in 473 BCE, population unknown, capital Mariel. How much am I missing? 17. Is it possible that this is the only thing? I'm going to run out of fuel anyway, which I'm pretty sure you have to hire like a galactic tow service, which costs you money. Because I'm now a little bit paranoid about skipping something in here. You know what?
Evasion successful.
Okay, so it was everything. Now, seeing how it was the Asari government that asked me for help, it is only fair to take Liara. Okay, he's using a Vindicator? Okay, and an Acolyte. I have to upgrade those for him. Bloodpack Punisher. Unleash a stasis bubble to trap enemies that walk into it, or increase all damage done to the targets by 50%. Deal 35% more damage to targets before stasis breaks. Okay, I'll take this. Increase recharge speed bonus for all powers. Okay, great.
Dig up any information on the mission, Liara?
I did, and I now understand why High Command wanted to hide it. We're headed to an Ardat-Yakshi monastery.
Ardat-Yakshi? Like Morinth?
Morinth chose to be a killer. These Ardat-Yakshi isolated themselves to avoid that. But it doesn't mean they're harmless. Their urge to feed can be powerful. That's why High Command sent in commandos to investigate the monastery's distress signal.
What were the commandos' orders?
If there was a chance the Ardat-Yakshi could break loose, the commandos were to purge the monastery.
Purge? You mean destroy?
They would have brought heavy explosives with them, yes.
Morinth was dangerous, but are the Ardat-Yakshi this big of a threat?
Morinth was just hitting her stride. Ardat-Yakshi who kill leave behind astronomical body counts. It's why they can never be free, and why they're such a great source of shame to the Asari. That's why High Command won't rest until this place is destroyed. They'd never risk a single Ardat-Yakshi getting loose.
Don't assume anything. Maybe the Ardat-Yakshi sent out the distress call. If the Asari want us to destroy this place, I need to know what happened.
Agreed. Once we give a report to High Command, they'll stop wasting lives here.
That's a nice view.
The shuttle is warm, recently used.
Elevator disabled. To prevent entry or escape, I wonder. That sound. There's more than one out there.
I hear something.
Stay sharp.
To our staff and students, attached is our new daily schedule. Please note that the wake-up time has been moved forward 15 minutes. Floor wardens can download the chore list later. Please see Matriarch Galley or myself if you have any questions. Wake up, breakfast, morning meditation, study period, chores, midday meal, classes, study period, supper, evening meditation, free period, curfew.
I heard something.
That was my fault, sorry.
Galley's electronic signature.
You won't believe what Yan has managed to smuggle in. A copy of Vanya. Meet us after supper in the library. Bring some study work. Reel is floor warden tonight, so act natural. We'll be by the East Video Banks. This is gonna be so great. See you there. Oh, and delete this once you listen to it. Not like last time.
Great job right there with deleting it.
seen the Asari commandos fell silent because the Reapers were here to greet them.
This monastery's out of the way. What do the Reapers want with Ardat-Yakshi? Anything useful?
A floor plan marked with the nav point location of a bomb. It's in some place called the Great Hall.
The commandos decided to purge this place.
Ardat-Yakshi or not, evacuating this place would have saved a lot of lives. If there's no survivors, let's get to the Great Hall and set off that bomb.
Very good. I almost didn't hear you.
Samara?
It has been some time, Shepard. You are a most welcome sight. The corruption here runs deep. I assume you're here on your own, Justicar. Perhaps for something special? You are correct. 2 of my daughters live here, and I have come for them. Unfortunately, the Reapers had already infested this place by the time I arrived.
You met me hunting down your other Ardat-Yakshi daughter. Are these ones just as dangerous?
Valer and Rila have followed the monastery's rules ever since they arrived. They've shown no inclination toward violence.
And you're here to save them?
They are my responsibility. And it's one that cannot be abandoned, even as our galaxy crumbles.
Let's go together. Maybe your daughters can tell us why the Reapers hit this place.
I suspect they will have much to tell us. It has been centuries since I last saw them. We're out of time. We'll meet again. I will draw these creatures off.
Wait! Let's go.
My name is Tashia Pore. I'm wounded. Bad. Give this to my bondmate, Weshra. Asked her to go to the Citadel and tell Weshra I love her. Tell her. Sorry we fought. I was an idiot. Didn't mean any of it, Weshra. Want you to have everything of mine, okay? Love you. I love you so.
An isolated fortress. The Ardat-Yakshi must have believed they were safe from the war.
If they knew about it at all.
They learned. A new enemy!
a person. An asari. What have the Reapers done?
Mother, you came.
As soon as I was able. Shepard, this is Falere, my youngest. She and her sister Rila are Ardat-Yakshi. They have
Mother, they have Rila.
What?
I saw some of those creatures take her into the Great Hall. I've been trying to get there.
What are the Reapers doing here?
Harvesting us. They're turning us into those monsters. Please, you can't let that happen to Rila.
The Asari thought the Ardat-Yakshi were to blame for the attack.
This is our home. Most of us are grateful to be here. The monastery is a place Ardat-Yakshi can achieve peace.
Falere speaks truthfully, Shepard. I vouch for her words, with pride.
Then we have to find Rila fast. The Great Hall has a bomb in it.
A bomb? What, didn't you come to rescue people?
We'll try, but we can't leave this place standing, Falere.
You sound like the commandos. They didn't stop to help anyone.
Falere?
I'm sorry.
Falere! The Great Hall. She's looking for Rila.
We'll meet you there.
Please be swift.
You'd need a crowbar to pry those doors open. This place was beautiful before the Reapers came.
Jethro, this is Galay. I've blocked extranet access. We don't need the students panicking about these Reaper rumors. Still, it will not hurt to tally our supplies. Please bring me an inventory before evening prayer. I'll contact Cessia later tonight to inquire what set the Asari to war. Go in peace.
I will comply.
Disciple. I'll check it out later on the ship. Jetra, I had the new girl put in a holding chamber. The Justicar who brought her to us, Justicar Fora, said that she had trouble convincing the prisoner coming to the monastery was necessary. This may explain why the girl lashed out at her guards. She's lucky Fora wasn't here for that. The Justicar's code would have demanded an execution. I'll question some of the other Justicars on the level of coercion Fora's permitted to use by the code. This isn't the first time her captors arrived here are terrified out of their wits, but it will certainly be the last. I've looked over this year's candidates for the supervised visits to Tessia. I'm approving everyone but Yanis. She's impulsive, cunning, and worst of all, a romantic. Find me a worse combination to let outside our walls. I find it suspicious that she was even nominated. Let's look into that and pray it's not Yanis manipulating another infatuation. It takes a great deal of time and effort to persuade Tessia's government to let out our best students visit their own homeworld. Unless Yanis matures, she won't be among them. Okay, this is going to be tough.
Let's get back to that bomb.
Falaire, go! Take the elevator! Rila, what are you doing? It's too late for me. There are hundreds coming. Just go!
Move!
No! Rila! I love you. Rila! We're not your slaves. Rila, there wasn't even time to say goodbye.
Few can break the Reaper's hold. Rila's will was extraordinary, as was her love for you.
We left her to die.
Rila made her choice, and it has reminded me of what is truly important. Why I swore I'd lay down my life.
What is that?
Falaire, the code demands an Ardat-Yakshi cannot live outside a monastery that no longer exists.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry, Shepard. By the Justicar's code, there is only one way to save Falaire.
Mother, no!
My daughters, you were all so... Let go.
What are you doing?
Fulfilling the code.
By throwing your life away?
I won't kill my last daughter.
You won't have to.
Falaire?
I'll stay here. Home. No matter what's become of it.
Without a proper monastery,
I could have left any time. I don't need a building to honor my own code. And if the Reapers return, they won't take me alive. I promise.
then the code permits you to stay, as you are. Once this war is over, and if I am able, I will visit, as a Justicar should.
I'd understand if you wanted to help Falaire rebuild a home here.
It must wait now that I can help oppose the Reapers. I'll speak with Falaire, then join your forces. If you'll have me, of course.
I'd be honored.
The honor is mine, my friend.
Everything's taken care of down here. Bring in the shuttle.
Right, Commander. I'll just follow the smoke.
I read your report, Commander. We had no idea the situation had deteriorated so quickly.
That's why I set off the bomb. There were no Ardat-Yakshi left.
May the Ardat-Yakshi find rest. What the Reapers did to them was monstrous. I had another team of commandos headed to the monastery who I can now formally transfer to Admiral Hackett's command. They'll serve you loyally, Commander. Farewell.
Now, I know this mission was supposed to be, like, touching and, emotional or whatnot, but if anything, it serves to highlight how stupid the Justicars are and how primitive the Asari treatment of Ardat-Yakshi is. Because Samara was literally prepared to kill herself because some ancient desert book said that she must kill her own daughter if she ever gets out of prison, to which she has been sent for the crime of existing. Like, that's just extremely stupid, and I like Samara. I think she's a good person, but she's a fanatic. The fact that most of the time our goals align, and so do our methods most of the time, doesn't change the fact that ultimately she isn't what I would call a rational being. She's entirely irrational, where she acts with like unflinching devotion to a set of rules that by definition cannot predict every situation in reality. And by the way, those rules are like extremely old, so they are probably pretty primitive as a result of that as well. But that was, if anything, a pretty effective introduction to another enemy type, which is the Banshee. But this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to save and end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!